One of the most famous English novels from the Victorian era is Great Expectations by Charles Dickens, published in 1861. It is a coming-of-age story that follows the life of a young orphan named Pip. The novel explores themes of social class, ambition, guilt, and personal growth. It is set in Victorian England, a time when social and economic hierarchies were deeply entrenched, and it reflects Dickens' critique of these systems. Great Expectations is a journey of personal growth and social critique, told from the perspective of Philip Pirrip, known as Pip, a young orphan who is raised by his sister and her kind-hearted husband, Joe Gorgory, a blacksmith. The story begins with a pivotal event. Pip encounters a convict named Magwitch on a bleak Christmas Eve in the marshes near his home. Magwitch intimidates Pip into helping him by stealing food and a file to aid his escape from prison. This act of kindness shapes the course of Pip's life in surprising ways, though he doesn't realize the consequences at that time. As Pip grows older, he becomes acquainted with the wealthy and eccentric Miss Havisham, a woman whose life has been frozen in time. She still wears her yellowed wedding dress and lives in her decaying mansion, Satyr's house, as a result of her betrayal on her wedding day. Miss Havisham raises her ward, Estella, to be cold and unfeeling toward men, and Pip falls in love with her, even though she consistently treats him with disdain. Miss Havisham plays a pivotal role in Pip's dreams of rising above his humble beginnings and becoming a gentleman worthy of Estella's love. One day, Pip is summoned by a lawyer and told that he is the beneficiary of a large fortune. He moves to London, where he is educated and trained to become a gentleman. However, the mysterious benefactor's identity is unknown, and Pip is convinced that it is Miss Havisham, who wishes to make him a match for Estella. In London, Pip is introduced to several important figures, including his tutor, Herbert Pocket, and a variety of people who come to represent different aspects of Pip's social mobility. However, his desire to fit into high society, and his growing resentment toward his humble roots lead him to feel increasingly dissatisfied with his life. The twist in the narrative comes when Pip discovers that Magwitch, the convict he once helped, is his true benefactor. Magwitch, who made a fortune while living abroad, had been secretly providing for Pip's education and luxury in the hopes of giving him a better life. This revelation shatters Pip's illusions of grandeur and makes him confront the truth about his social ascent. It was built on the money of a criminal, not a noble benefactor. Central characters and their significance. Pip, the protagonist and narrator. Pip's growth from an innocent, impressionable child to a more self-aware and reflective adult is at the heart of the novel. His internal struggle to reconcile his desire for social status with his growing sense of moral responsibility forms the basis of the novel's moral themes. Estella, the beautiful, aloof ward of Miss Havisham, Estella is the object of Pip's unrequited love. While she appears to be the epitome of high social standing, she is emotionally cold and unresponsive to Pip's affections, reflecting the novel's critique of the rigid Victorian class system. Estella's development later in the story also highlights the consequences of Miss Havisham's manipulation. Joe Gorgory, Pip's brother-in-law and the blacksmith. Joe represents the virtues of loyalty, honesty, and hard work. Though he is kind and self-sacrificing, he is often overshadowed by Pip's desire for a more glamorous life. Joe's unwavering love for Pip and his genuine goodness stand in stark contrast to the characters driven by selfish ambitions. Miss Havisham, a tragic figure whose obsessive vengeance has left her unable to move past her own betrayal. Miss Havisham is the catalyst for Pip's misguided expectations. Her manipulation of Estella and her fixation on the past represent the destructive power of unresolved emotions and the damage caused by societal expectations placed on women. Magwitch, the convict whose fortunes enable Pip's transformation into a gentleman. Magwitch is the most complex character in the novel. While he is initially perceived as a criminal and an unwelcome figure, his deep affection for Pip and his desire to give him a better life show a different side to his character, emphasizing Dickens' exploration of redemption and moral ambiguity. Literary themes: social class and ambition. One of the central themes of Great Expectations is the tension between social classes and the desire to move up the social ladder. Through Pip's experiences, Dickens critiques the notion that wealth and class are the defining markers of a person's worth. While Pip's rise to gentility initially seems to promise happiness, he soon learns that true fulfillment is not found in wealth or status, but in loyalty, love, and moral integrity. Identity and self-realization. Pip's journey is not just one of social mobility, but of self-discovery. Throughout the novel, he grapples with his sense of identity. Initially, he feels ashamed of his humble origins and desires to become something he is not. However, the revelation about his benefactor forces him to confront who he truly is, leading to a more mature understanding of his place in the world. Redemption and forgiveness. The theme of redemption plays a prominent role, especially through the character of Magwitch. Despite his criminal background, Magwitch's desire to make amends by helping Pip shows that individuals are capable of change and moral growth. The novel also explores the possibility of forgiveness, both from others and oneself. The corrupting influence of money. Throughout the novel, Dickens examines how the pursuit of wealth can lead to moral degradation. Characters like Pip and Miss Havisham are driven by material desires, and their lives are filled with disappointment and disillusionment. On the other hand, characters like Joe Gorgui represent the virtues of simplicity and integrity, suggesting that true happiness lies in contentment and genuine human connection. Learning English through Great Expectations. For learners of English, reading Dickens' work offers a multifaceted learning experience. The rich language and complex sentence structures provide an opportunity to learn advanced vocabulary and understand how words are used in different contexts. Great Expectations also contains a wide array of stylistic devices such as symbolism, irony, and foreshadowing, which can be analyzed to deepen one's understanding of both the English language and literary techniques. By listening to audiobook versions and reading along, learners can enhance their listening comprehension and pronunciation, as Dickens' works are often read aloud in clear, distinct tones that help learners mimic proper English pronunciation. Additionally, analyzing the historical and cultural context in which the novel is set will give learners insight into Victorian society, social class dynamics, and the history of England, all of which can further enrich their vocabulary and language comprehension. In sum, reading and analyzing a novel like Great Expectations provides a comprehensive language learning experience that goes beyond basic conversation, offering deeper engagement with advanced grammar, vocabulary, and cultural history. The novel begins with Pip, an orphan child living with his sister and her husband in a small village. One day, while visiting the grave of his parents, he encounters a convict named Magwitch, who forces him to steal food and a file to aid in his escape. After the incident, Pip's life takes an unexpected turn when he is invited to the home of the wealthy but eccentric Miss Havisham. There, he meets her beautiful but cold-hearted ward, Estella, whom he falls in love with, despite her cruelty toward him. Pip is later informed that he has come into a large fortune from an unknown benefactor, and he moves to London to become a gentleman. However, as the story progresses, Pip learns that his expectations were misguided. His wealth comes from Magwitch, the convict he once helped, rather than from the wealthy Miss Havisham, and his romantic idealization of Estella leads him to a deeper understanding of himself and his place in the world. Central characters: Pip, the protagonist of the novel, whose journey of self-discovery and growth is central to the plot. His experiences shape his understanding of what it means to be a gentleman, and the importance of love and loyalty over social status. Estella, Miss Havisham's ward, who represents unattainable beauty and a cold, almost heartless nature. Pip's obsession with her drives much of his personal development. Miss Havisham, a wealthy, eccentric woman, who has been living in isolation since her fiancé jilted her on their wedding day. She raises Estella to break men's hearts as a way of avenging her own pain. Magwitch, the convict whom Pip helps as a child. His unexpected role as Pip's benefactor plays a significant role in Pip's journey and the novel's exploration of themes like guilt, redemption, and the nature of charity. Joe Gorgory, Pip's brother-in-law, a kind-hearted blacksmith, who represents the idea of goodness without ambition for social status. Literary analysis: Great Expectations is notable for its rich characterization, social commentary, and the moral lessons it imparts. Dickens uses symbolism, such as Miss Havisham's decaying wedding dress, to represent the consequences of living in the past and refusing to move forward. Pip's journey reflects the conflict between personal desires and moral obligations. Dickens critiques the Victorian class system, showing how wealth and status do not necessarily lead to happiness, and how one's true worth lies in personal integrity and relationships rather than material success. The narrative structure is also significant. The novel is written in the first person, with Pip serving as both the narrator and the protagonist. This allows readers to experience Pip's internal struggles, thoughts, and emotions firsthand, making his development and eventual self-awareness more impactful. Learning English through novels. For learners of English as an additional language, reading novels like Great Expectations offers several advantages. Vocabulary building. Novels are rich in descriptive language and varied vocabulary. By reading fiction, learners encounter words in context, which makes it easier to understand their meanings and how they are used in different situations. For instance, learning the word expectation in the context of Pip's life and ambitions helps reinforce its meaning. Improving grammar and sentence structure. Literature often uses complex sentence structures, which exposes learners to proper grammar usage and varied syntax. By studying how authors like Dickens construct their sentences, learners can improve their writing skills and grasp nuances in sentence construction. Cultural understanding. Novels like Great Expectations offer insight into the historical and cultural context of the time in which they were written. Learners gain a deeper understanding of English-speaking cultures, particularly how social norms and expectations shaped life in Victorian England. Listening and pronunciation. Listening to an audiobook version of a novel while following along with the text helps learners practice listening comprehension. It also helps them pick up proper pronunciation and rhythm, especially with literary works that often include more formal or stylized language. Engagement with themes and ideas. Reading novels that explore complex themes, such as identity, morality, and social class in Great Expectations, can help learners develop critical thinking and a deeper understanding of the language beyond basic communication. This encourages discussion, writing, and even debates in class or with peers, further enhancing their English language skills. In conclusion, Great Expectations offers a multifaceted learning experience for those seeking to improve their English language skills. By engaging with the novel, learners not only enhance their vocabulary, grammar, and listening skills, but also gain a profound understanding of literary techniques and the social dynamics of Victorian England.